Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the joint webinar today with WePlay and Pocket Space. So while we are waiting for more participants to join us today, so just let me know if everything is okay with the platform, with the sound and with the picture. Just put any sign in the chat box so I would know that everything is running smoothly. Okay, great. Okay, so perfect. So we can start. Hello again. So my name is Ksenia. I'm head of marketing at Apptica, and today I'm joined by the smartest guys in gaming industry. So Soltuhan Pilsen, investment management lead at WePlay Ventures, and Alexander Karchagin, chief marketing officer at Pocket Space. Hi guys. Thank you for being here with us today. So it's a great pleasure to have you here. And we've decided to discuss all the trends and transformations we witness now in crypto gaming. So we all saw this hype and NFT fever in 2021, followed by drastic changes in 2022 due to this macroeconomic situation and turbulence in the crypto market. So, what future holds for us for 2023? So we will try to discuss today. So it's quite interesting to see your points of view, and what makes this webinar more valuable is that we can see two different perspectives. So the side of investor and the side of publisher. So that's why I'm so excited. So concerning our agenda, I will tell briefly about Apptica for those of you who are not familiar with the product, just what we have to offer, and just brief coverage of NFT market, what we see from our platform. Maybe it will be useful for you. And then I will move straight forward to our speakers, just not to waste your precious time. And we will start with a presentation and Q&A session. And quite important, feel free to ask any questions, to put everything in the chat box. During the webinar, I will try to cover them all, and we will try to answer them all. So if any question arises, put them just in the chat box. So about Apptica. So we are ad intelligence and app analytics tools that help mobile business to grow by providing different insights into mobile market. With us, you can access more than 10 million apps, find new creatives in our ad gallery. Now we have more than 35 million items. And of course, you can catch market trends and all updates of your competitors. So you can grow with us, and you can grow your business if you are a developer, publisher, game studio, marketing specialist, investor. So we are open to any collaboration, and just at the top you can see the call to action button. So if you feel that Apptica can help you to grow business, you can just click there and just request the demo call, and we are here to help. So concerning our products, we have store intelligence. Here you can access store profiles, downloads, revenues, SDK. You can check all the strategies of your competitors. You can find new apps released by new publishers or by top famous publishers. So you can track all the changes in the market. You can analyze your competitor strategy to adjust your own, so it might be quite useful. Then we have ad intelligence and our pride. Here you can find creative gallery with a lot of different videos, images, playable ads that the mobile apps are using right now. Find maybe some inspiration for your own strategy and your your path, then just check the publishers you're interested in, or the apps you're interested in. So it's quite, everything is possible here. The possibilities are infinite, actually. And the third one, so it's market alerts and newsfeed. For me, it's my favorite because it helps me to analyze NFT mobile gaming market that I'm going to talk now about. So this section allows you to set your own preset with advanced filters. For example, find your niche you're interested in, just find the apps you're interested in, and just track all the changes. You will have the alerts, different alerts on any updates, and so you can be updated all the time. So it's quite useful, and that's exactly what I've done while preparing for this webinar. I've chosen dozens of NFT gaming apps, and I was just looking through their transformation, what's going on actually in the market. And I can say that the market is afloat despite all the changes and all the turbulence that I've mentioned before. We see some apps in the featuring section. Actually, we see a lot of creatives going on. So you can also notice the examples in the slide. And we see the constant app development. So I receive daily updates and changes in NFT apps. So they change icons, screenshots, descriptions, geo. So all changes are there. So it means that the market is alive, the market is moving forward, and it's great. So we are quite optimistic about that. And this market is worth considering, and I guess worth investing in. And talking about the investment, so I'm giving the floor to Soltuhan. So hi again. So just tell us about WePlay, about your experience, about your company, and the most crucial part, how do you decide what projects to invest in, and whether you have maybe some crypto projects in your portfolio. So.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, again. Firstly, I will introduce myself. I have been working as an investment management lead at WePlay Ventures for more than 2 years. I manage both investment process and our activities in all Europe. Let me briefly talk about the WePlay Ventures. WePlay Ventures was established in 2020 to invest in only in core game development studios. We are making platform agnostic investing. That is, we are investing in all platforms: PC, mobile, console, web-based, or blockchain-based games. All of it's okay for us. During our first year, we started by investing exclusively in Turkey, and we invested in 15 game studios so far. And we have one exit with in our portfolio investment, which in our view was a short time span. The most important factor that enable us to be successful is the support we provide to our portfolio companies. We support a company with both our professional team and our network for business, legal, accounting, to game publishing strategies, or maybe new game idea, to all of this stuff. In this way, we became the most active VC in Turkey and the eighth most active gaming VC in the world last year. As of today, we have decided to expand our region, and as of 2023, we will continue to make investment in all Europe, Central Asia, and Turkey. We also plan to establish incubation centers in 11 countries across Europe. Thanks to these incubation centers, we aim to touch 300 game studios in 18 months, and we wanted to find many potential game companies in their early stage, actually. And the last one, maybe our ticket size. Our ticket size between 100K and 500K dollar right now. In generally, I can tell you about the WePlay part. And let me briefly talk about our investment process and criteria. First of all, we make our first examination either on the scouting work of our team or on the application of the studios, apply on the studios. And if we think it has a potential, we organize a meeting. We have some evaluation criteria in which we determine whether the meeting concluded on the positive note. The most important criteria we look at this is the team. Especially when invest in the early stage, we invest in the team, not the company. Because as everyone knows, the game ecosystem has a structure where trends change very quickly. For this reason, we are seriously examining whether the team can overcome this process and adapt quickly to new trends, even if they fail with their current projects. Um, the rest of the steps are simple for us. If we believe in the team, market analysis, competitor analysis, technical analysis, and KPI analysis are subjects that we know and dominate since we are active in the industry. That's why we can evaluate this stage very quickly and easy. The last and the important issue is the financial analysis. Because how they will use the investment they want to raise or whether they can use the investment efficiently is the last issue we focus on the most. All this process is completed within 1 or 2 months on average, and we make the investment decision actually.
And what about crypto projects? Do you have something in mind or in portfolio or just at some early stages maybe?
Yeah, we have two companies about the blockchain projects right now. It's called Mixer and the Funverse. They developed the casual games based on the blockchain. So we are looking very good about the blockchain projects because the blockchain technologies and the tokenomics parts is a really important things for the gaming industry's future. So we are really interested about this, but the important part about the game details, because of the play and earn or play to earn games, a lot of people want short-term profit, so they don't care about the games. But it is the important part about the games. If people want to play, if people enjoy this game, then the people play this game, and then the company can earn money in this project. So this is the most important part. And the second part about the tokenomics. If the just business model about the token part, crypto revenue part, the tokenomics is a really important because this is their earning money model. So we focus about this topic when we invest in the crypto project or the blockchain based gaming project.
Mm-hmm. And
And
just sorry for interrupting, just I have one more question in mind. Is there any difference between getting equity investment and token investment?
yeah, actually, 1 year ago, token investment was a really popular investment model because it's the fundraising part was really easy. Uh, but right now, the market it's a little bit changing because the token investment it's a really short-term investment model because when the investors sold their all tokens after that the partners model ended. So if they raise the equity investment, this is the more strategic and more long-term partnership model for the startups. Uh, because if raise the equity investment for the next investment rounds, it's the easier for the startups. So it's a really important thing. And also the valuation is the other topics for the startups. If they raise the equity, if they take the equity investment, their valuation is the really clear. So when the next step they want to do make an exit or they want to sell or their company. So the valuation part is a really important thing. So equity investment very useful for the startups. And the most of the token we see right now looking for the equity investment actually. The 1 year ago, they don't want to invest in the equity model. They want to just invest the token investment. But right now, their strategies changing, and also the token VCs make equity investment right now. And also, this is the general investment world market, because especially VC investments make up the majority of the investment in all sectors. The most important reason for this is the change of the strategic partnership. Apart from the large ticket size, this is a different topic. If a startup receives investment from venture capital, it will provide a huge advantage for the next investment rounds. Apart from this, VCs still continue to be most preferred investment options, as they are in contact with many startups from similar sectors, have a wide network, and have the know-how to guide startups in the right way. Here, I would like to again mention the rapidly increased token VCs, especially with blockchain and metaverse project. Token investments was a very popular investment options, especially until 1 year ago. But after the constant downwards trend within the blockchain market, many blockchain projects have turned to equity investment. The most important reason for this is that token investment is a shorter term partnership, and after the investor sells the token, there's no partnership structure. However, in equity investment, as I said, this partnership continues until the company fails or the shares are sold. So it's a much longer term partnership. But both investments may have a different advantage or disadvantage. But here, startups need to evaluate these advantages and disadvantages correctly, actually.
Okay, clear. But in general, you have changed your approach, right, towards this investment process towards gaming and crypto gaming. I mean, just taking into consideration the recent events.
Mm-hmm.
So you have changed your approach, right? So,
yeah,
but however, you have 2 projects in your portfolio, so you are not afraid of this, right? Okay. So we are moving to another part of our discussion today towards the publisher side. And I'm having with us today Alexander. Hi again.
Hi once again. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you actually, Saltohan, for what you've said. Kudos about the good product part and about the equity investment. So let me slightly broaden this view from the standpoint of a publisher. So hi, I'm Alex. I will briefly talk about myself, tell our thoughts on the about myself and the product as well, and the company, tell the thoughts on the trends, and then speak a little on how we're trying to actually act on these trends and what's gonna wait on 2023. Once again, I'm Alex. I'm the CMO of Hexacore, a Web3 company. I've had an unbelievable pleasure, luck, and honor to work with several quite well-known games in mobile industry. You've all heard of the Scapes series, of the Cut the Rope series, the Crash Arena Turbo Stars, and several others that are not even mentioned here, but you probably have heard of. I've started about 12 years ago and been here since the rise of free-to-play. So I will then tell you why I'm so excited about the Web3 now, about the crypto market itself. And let's move to the at the beginning of this year, I've joined Hexacore. It's a publisher that helps companies. So it has a clear mission actually to move the crypto transactions closer to mainstream, as we have this belief that once free-to-play boosted the gaming market, possibly the crypto and NFT market is going to boost gaming market once again. So the leadership of this company has the quite extensive experience in both fields of game development and the crypto market and blockchain. Mobile games of Hexacore's parent company, Apps Hub, combined have more than million installs in so far and are still increasing. The company has interesting and good strategic investment and partnerships, which is very important in the field. One of those, the stellar game developer Astoti, which have more than 1.5 billion installs. Exola, which is one of the leading payment processors, have their options for crypto as well. Fractal, a GameFi launchpad that was found by Justin Kahn, who is the co-founder of Twitch, and David Wurz, who is a veteran Google manager and co-founder of Google Drive. So
And you
very,
can we play now as your strategic partner.
uh, I guess I would love to. Let's see. Would
Why
be
not?
I'm open for talking. All right. So and also Solana as L2 network, layer 2 blockchain that we use at the moment because they have huge scaling capabilities mostly. So all these things, and I mean all of these parts of the story are nothing without a good, really good product. So we got ourselves two very interesting products that are both, in terms of retention metrics, well above the market benchmarks. First is a idle arcade RPG style game called Pocket Space. The second is Candy Merge. And on the next slide, you can see a couple screenshots from Pocket Space, and you can also, I guess, take a look at the trailer, which is quite fun and gives more sense of the game.
Just let me switch it on.
Thank you. So the game is, as you might have noticed, is a space fantasy. Okay, so we're here. A space fantasy idle arcade with RPG elements. It has used the core tested core gameplay mechanics that we were able to have the experience from with the help of Estoti, our partners, but a very deepened game economy, tokenomics, logics, game modes, and diversity of gameplay. Oh my, several people didn't see the video, unfortunately.
Yes,
I will be able to send it to you, or you can take a look at it on our website as well. You will have all the
yes,
all
we
the
in the
contents.
follow-up email. So for those of you who for some reason technical issues couldn't see it, don't worry. So we will show it to you in any ways.
Totally. Yes. Thank you. So what makes the game also quite special is that the utility of the blockchain part are going to be planets, sort of player-owned game rooms with the ability to be collected, to be sold, to be used for resource grinding, to be used to as actually even uh, as UGC content as it is. And as well as also Saltohan has mentioned this part, we are focusing, this game is focusing way more on the ownership side than on the play to earn its side. And why we think that matters is sort of on the next couple slides. The global gaming market, due to COVID pandemic, has been booming in 2020. It's not on the slide, but it has been increased from 152 billion to 179 1 year before, and that is an 18% increase. So it just jumped hugely. How that cannot be forever, as mentioned by you, Ksenia, we are seeing recession at the moment. The market is slightly dropping, yet, and as well, and crypto side, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, we're very optimistic on how this is gonna evolve anyways. That's Newzoo who is very optimistic, but I do share this optimism. I do believe that games are going to be number one sort of go-to when you're looking for entertainment globally, and when we talk about masses, I mean how many people there are playing. By the way, Newzoo has just also reported that it's 3.2 billion gamers all over the world. Anybody who just opened one game during their lifetime. The number is 3.2, and only 20% at the moment are hesitant to try crypto gaming, and the rest are actually quite open. But what else I can say about the crypto sort of NFT Web3 gaming market is that within the uh, Web3 segment, the activity was thriving as well during 2021, and the gaming market was the fastest and the most stable actually to grow. As well, it has been the most demanded sort of segment of the products, which was, I mean, demanded by the communities when the communities were asked, like, what they like to see next as a product. And for us to sort of, I mean, why we think this is happening is that it's not just only earning during the hype of 2021 and just adding some little fun on top of it, but I think this is also some broader gamification of rather, uh, please no offense, type of dull topic of finance, which my younger brother has a finance major, so it's okay. I love people from finance, but it's not as much fun as when you add gamifications on top of that. But also, it's monetizable UGC, it's ownership of collectibles, it's stuff that you can own, sell, transfer by any way and mean, and you're gonna also evolve in many games, which is another part of fun, which is not even UGC, but sort of uh, grinding. So I do believe with all that, and you, Ksenia, mentioned that we are going to see huge competition. Already seeing it, but in 2023, it's going to be unprecedented, so to speak. So to be competitive in this landscape, I guess I would tell about differences in marketing that I see are very important in how to approach how to actually go to market. And since I guess there are many people here who are seasoned marketers on mobile, that would be pretty interesting for them. So the one of the most important differences that will meet the eye is that on mobile you heavily rely on mainstream UA channels, on media buying from Facebook, Google, and so on. And on Web3, you rely on KOLs as locomotives. You have to build good relationships with them. You have to almost be a brand only sort of communication style company. And you also will have specific UA channels, but really quite specific, such as Brave browser, which is I don't think many people from sort of occasional Web 2 don't do even know anything about it. Also, about the importance of the audience. While in Web 2, free to play, in other games, you mostly pay attention to about 5 to 15% of the audience who are payers. It's not the case in blockchain gaming. It's over there you have to pay attention to people like investors who might not even play. They will be holding the assets in the game, but probably not open the game at all. There will be payers. Most of those, some of the games are gated by buying some NFTs, which I also think is not gonna last long. We do believe a lot in free to play in the field. And there are also guilds and guild players, which are a whole different stories, are huge organizations that invest into games that distribute the goods between players and then reap the profits from that. And talking about the metrics, they are also quite different. While in sort of Web2 mobile gaming, you talk about the LTV CPI ratio a lot. You talk about LTV forecasting a lot. You talk about the audience size. You're going to think in Web3, you're going to think about the yield that the players have, about the tokenomics, about their profits, because the players want to stay at least, not maybe they in 2022 are okay to be not hugely profitable, but they would like to be profitable still. So this is the one of the other differences. And as a sort of conclusion, the games that up to date were in the mobile market were product first, and Web3 products are largely community first. You might not even have the product yet, but you already will have the community, and that community might be very helping and quite open, which is the case. I'm sorry, in our case, since for example, we are holding votes for what types of assets, in-game assets, are going to be produced next, which is a funny option to go with. So,
and just sorry,
yes,
just
please.
in
Yeah.
your personal case of Pocket Space, what user acquisition channels are you going to develop more?
Mainly, well, as I said, KOLs are very important. On Twitter, it's like a super channel for that. When you have a product, what you want to generate as a part of the funnel is your Discord server, which is a very different thing from what you do on mobile. Although you have the Discord server, of course, you won't be having it as a conversion funnel. And as for the channels, well, Twitter, TikTok are among the tops. There are also smaller guys like, well, specific guys like the previously mentioned Brave browser, which is a blockchain powered browser that lets you log in into stuff quicker and sells traffic, as well as many sort of, well, it's not PR directly, but it's media buys from the outlets that work with blockchain. So it's closer to the old style, old school web media buying of the beginning of 2010s. I hope I answered the question.
Yes. So do I get it right? Just general one, I guess, for both of you. So first we should have a product in the community, and then we should integrate the crypto part. So we shouldn't go
Uh,
around the crypto part, right? So it shouldn't be like the focal point of the project.
Well, Saltohan has already mentioned that part. It used to be just as you said, like the opposite. I mean, it used to be crypto first and then product a year ago. Now it's
Opposite.
different indeed. Yes, and what we're hearing from the platforms such as Google itself is that they're saying, guys, build a good game first. You show that the metrics are good, that you are sort of worth, and then go full into the crypto if you'd like to, but don't make it the sort of do not ride on the hype only. And this is something that it's not going to be possible in 2023. The hype's over, I believe, and we'll see. Yeah, I mean, the hype's over, so you need a good game first, I
Yeah.
guess. Sultan, please add on this if you have thoughts.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you because the product is really important for the investment part. Generally, investor want to see some demo or MVP because we can understand the team's potential and the product potential. This is the most important part. Just idea, it's not enough for the investment process because a lot of people have a lot of great idea, but we wanted to see some development, some process. If the team and if the company build their project, then they definitely started their development process, and then they can show some MVP or some demo. This is really important part because idea it's not important for today.
True. True.
But okay, if hype is over and we have this instability, what have you taken any precautions to mitigate the risks? Because we don't know what to expect from 2023. Of course, we are optimistic, but what's your approach towards that? How to mitigate these risks? What should we do?
Should I go first?
Just up to
Yeah,
you.
because I have it on the slide actually.
Okay,
So
sorry.
the first bullet point is mostly about that. So what we are building is a hybridly monetized product. It's going to have the sort like three whales of that, the ad monetization for those who never pay, who just want to the free to play part, and that's it. It's just play. So it's okay. You're welcome, please go and play. Just watch some ads, please, so it increases the LTV. Then there's in-app purchases, which is the more like it's the most mainstream concurrent type of payments in the games, and the highest, the largest market as well. And then we also have the crypto part. So this is exactly the approach that we're having, is to distribute those revenue streams into three paths.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Sultan, maybe you have any ideas about the
Yeah,
risks?
yeah, sure. Also, I can evaluate the past at for now. Actually, I was waiting for these downtrends and bearish market to occur because while the crypto world is growing really fast, unfortunately, it is the field with too many projects entering this space just to make short-term profits. This situation caused the market to develop into bubble, and this bubble had to burst after a while, so that they could stand out from the others in successful projects. I mean, in 2023, we can easily find the good project because they passed these bad days. And this is really useful for the investor part. And we can find the really good potential blockchain projects because if they can pass this process, it means they have really good potential.
Um, okay, so moving back to your competitive approach. So
All
just
right. Thanks. So, well, it's partially has been covered about the hybrid monetization. We also do believe, and I mentioned this previously, in free to play. So we think that this is a not a bad direction as a whole for the market. I mean, of course, there are strong believers, and I also quite enjoy pay to play sort of games. I mean, premium games, AAA games. But these are different types of entertainment, right? So you don't have a pay to play idle. You normally don't have a pay to play idle game that is AAA, and this is a different sort of story. And we are also, what we're trying to do is to be community driven from day one, although not relying too much on crypto whales. And what I think was one of the underlying reasons of why it previously used to be like that in investments, that it come into token. I mean, you invest into tokens, you drop the product in half a year, is that you had a lot of crypto whales who were looking for where they could just send their money to. Now they're slightly more hesitant to doing that, and now it's a good, actually it's the best time to produce a real product, not a scam or, sorry, garbage, but a good product.
Mhm.
And also, to sort of reinforce on the graph that you're seeing here, what we have seen during the analysis of the market is that um, the audiences, especially on mobile games, are huge. Hundreds of millions of people, uh, large audiences, low ARPU or LTV, which stands for average revenue per user, or lifetime value, which more or less could be interchangeable. So, anyways, what we saw in crypto is that ARPU is way higher. It's huge. It could be 1,000 times more than on the same game of the sort of the same genre. But this is because the games have this threshold, not a threshold, but a pay gate. You won't be able to even start playing if you have not invested into something. So what we believe to be doing here is to stand sort of in between. We're using a core gameplay of a product that already has tens of millions of users. We're enhancing it to have higher LTVs and adding blockchain elements of ownership on top of that to have even larger part of the curve where the whales reside.
So it's something
So
in
this is,
addition, right?
oh, excuse me.
It's something in addition.
Exactly. Yes. So that's why we talk about hybrid of this
Mhm.
type of monetization. That's what we'll look for.
Okay. And so what apps do you see as your main competitors for now, if any?
Oof. The thing is, the largest and the most well-known, like Axie Infinity, LN Worlds, or Splinterlands, or Gods Unchained, and many of those are slightly further on their development cycle. And the people who we are at the moment looking at, such as Defenders of Kingdom on Fractal launchpads, are smaller. It's not that easy to notice them, even on the intelligent platforms. But we're kind of precisely looking at guys who are smaller because we can analyze what they're doing well and we're not, and vice versa. What we're doing good and they're not. So tricky question, as always. In games, you have a lot of competitors. Even the cinema is your sort of competitor. But yeah, the landscape itself, I guess, would be a better way to represent the idea of competition that we have than just talking about names, because we have a lot of different wonderful colleagues. I prefer calling competition colleagues, but many of those, I mean, most of them provide something to learn from. So that's, I guess, the most important part. But
That's
if
the
you want to
most
succeed,
important.
that's our strategy. Yep. Yep.
Okay. So I hope, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we will see Pocket Space in the trending app and in the hot releases in the nearest future. So with a lot of downloads and revenue rocketing.
Well,
So
we are at the moment. Thank you very much for that, for these kind words. At the moment, we are in sort of a closed alpha stage. Although one of the apps that we have is open, we're launching closer to March. So I guess by March, yes, I hope this comes true, and yeah, we reach the top.
and in April for sure. Then just in
Oh yeah,
Apptica, the first
totally.
line is Pocket Space. Be sure that
Uh,
with this competitive approach, 100%.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for these insights. And if there is just in our audience someone who is a newbie and just decided, someone has decided to start this approach of crypto gaming, so what tips, what advice maybe you could give to them, as you're quite experienced already? So for example, Alexander, from your point of view, so your own tips as a publisher and from Seltuhan, so what they should have to attract your attention. So you could just decide, yeah, that's the project I want to invest in. So,
Well, as a publisher, we will mostly be looking into any sort of retention metrics and market overview and analysis that they have. If they don't have retention metrics, we're open to testing. So it's also fine. I mean, if you have an MVP, that's okay. If you don't have an MVP, that's another sort of story. So it's better to have at least something testable, which makes sense in the world of digital when you actually test things before going to market. So I guess that would be my piece of advice.
Yeah. And also the investor side. If for someone who wants to raise a new investment, I think the most important thing to pay attention to is be prepared correctly and to have everything planned. I mean, they need to accurately convey to the investor that they calculated all possibilities for these startups. correctly analyzes their competitors and showcase and their difference in the means of advantage from their competitors, because the investor always want to see their all plans and the all analysis. This is the really important part. This means the founders know their job and they have a good plans for A, B, C plan. So it's the really important thing. So I think they pay attention for this.
Mhm. So, and as we are moving to the end of our discussion, so let's recap maybe the future of the crypto gaming. So, from your point of view, just briefly, how do you think it will be evolving? So, positive, but how?
This is for me.
Yeah, for both. Just a small recap, maybe for those who have just joined us, just to give maybe some positive vibes and just a bit of recap.
Actually, for the 2023, we'll be going to positive because the as we talked about the projects changing. A lot of founders make a MVP at the show. They can show some product. This is a really important first part. And the second part is the tokenomics model. Right now, a lot of people learn the tokenomics and the, some strategy about this revenue model. So I mean, we can show the some different earning model system. For example, they use the crypto revenue model and the normal classic monetization model. They mixed these two models for their games. This is the really important because the mobile games generates really huge, has a really huge community, but the crypto part is the really smaller than the mobile games genres communities. So if they can mix these two genres, these two communities, this is the really good point for them. And also this is the really good for the investor side and their project. So they I really happy about these developments. Can see that this crypto market right now.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. To sort of reinforce on this side of well, combining things and making the two types of communities friends, sort of not again but once. I mean, they haven't been so far. I think this would be this making crypto more mainstream is going to be the number one trend in 2023. Although it's not that hyping, it's now more stable than sort of than ever. I mean, for some time being. Although even after the FTX crash, Solana has dropped in terms of numbers, but I think it's now way more decentralized than ever before, so it makes it more stable now. So what the bear markets sort of tell us is that when you drop, you have something to push from. And if you build during this period, you will reap even higher profits. And this is the good part. So I believe in this sort of combination of mainstreaming the crypto transactions, teaching players to be friends with one another is, I mean, in terms of crypto, non-crypto, and making it just another type of sort of ownership system, not just, oh, this is blockchain, this is super special. No, it's just, yeah, it's just blockchain. You own something that you bought, and this is something very important, I believe.
Yes,
And I'm
actually,
seeing a lot of
yeah.
interesting questions actually below.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that crisis is a good soil for growth for someone, and I guess
Yep.
for blockchain, that's the case. So someone
Totally.
can grow from that, and that's the good point. Yeah, we received some of the questions in the chat box. Okay, so do you have any other good examples of games that started in the classic monetization model and successfully moved to the crypto system?
I would I would suggest you taking a look at a game called Neolens. It's oh, sorry, Neopolis, because it has a branch called Neolens, which is doing sort of a different type, well, similar but different type of approach. The game existed for a while. So far, it has more than 1 million installs, but now the guys are moving to the. So it's a geopositioning based type of game, AR, and now they're moving into crypto and they're selling lands through crypto, through blockchain. It does make sense, and we have Upland who does this from the beginning, but these guys were exactly the transition that you're asking for. So take a look.
Great. So I guess the second question is also for you.
To me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Actually, thank you very much, because no, we do not face any legal problems, and this is due to the fact that first of all, Astoti, the developer, is our investor and partner, and the other thing, we all the assets in the game, everything in the game, including the code, including everything, is our own. So we did develop it internally, and that makes it a different game, although we are definitely and explicitly basing it on the experience of My Little Universe, because the game is quite fun and it's promising to be used within the tokenomics systems of deeper economics than just of an idle arcade game. So the short answer is no
No.
legal problems.
Great. So can we say that if we create a successful product that holds attention, then we should think about creating an additional build with a crypto payment system? I guess that's what we've been discussing previously, right? So the product, the community, the team, that's what
It's I would say that I think that the question might be more about additional build. So if I understood that correctly, should you have sort of an additional
payments.
application for that? It's it's supposed to not be always the case. I mean, you can optionally do that, and I mean, I don't. Although I do not have many examples of games having several applications.
Yes, new
You
application. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, simultaneous. So I don't think this is the mainstream case. It's normally just integrated inside, but sometimes people are either going to a wallet from the app or going to the web page where everything is sold, so that it's integrated into their game.
Mhm. Also, I can say about this. It's a really useful. Can be really useful for thing because some companies, some gaming companies make this. Firstly, they use the Web 2 part because they want more players, and then they can reach the more players for the Web 2 part. And after that, if they integrate it to the blockchain part or tokenomics part, they can transfer to the Web 2 players to Web 3 part. So it can be really useful, but the most important part, the strategy. Firstly, you have to make a really good strategy. You make the all plan, and after that it can be for useful for this.
I hope we've provided necessary insights and answers for the audience. Um, okay, so if someone has more questions, just we have some more time left. You could type them in the chat box. For me, creating a game with crypto is a known territory. It confuses me that this requires a highly skilled team that specializes in blockchain. Well,
Well, blockchain has been there for many years, so it's
mm,
already possible to. It's not that easy to get experienced people who have been doing sort of GameFi play to earn projects for like 10 years, but people who are in blockchain for 5 years is quite a possible thing to do. So we are
well, good luck
like
with
we are
that.
there for you, dude.
You have our support. Okay, so just I would like to move to the context section. So thank you all for being here with us today. I hope that this webinar was useful for you and you've got these insights that you were looking for. I thank you, our speakers. for their expertise and experience that they have shared with us today. In this slide, you can see their contacts. So if you have any questions or any issues to discuss, you can contact Saltuhan and Alexander and discuss maybe your joint projects or cooperations of any kind, so feel free. And mine is also there. So if you're interested in Apptica and our analytics, so we are there for you as well. So thank you all for your participation. So I will put on hold our recording that we will share in our follow-ups with the trailer of Pocket Space. So you will receive all information in your emails. So thank you again, and just stay tuned for more webinars to come from Apptica. So, and I wish you all good day and the rest of the week. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.